In example 9, we are told that a storage bin is cube-shaped, and a cube, if you recall, has 3 equal dimensions. If the side dimension of the cube is reduced by 5 centimeters, the volume of the bin will be reduced by 90,000 cubic centimeters. And we're asked to determine the dimensions of the original cube. So obviously I'm going to start off with some cube shapes. So there's my original cube, and the dimensions of the original cube, let's just say, are going to be x by x by x. So my variable x is going to be the dimension or the side of the original, that is the larger cube. And so I know that the volume of the original cube is going to be x cubed. Volume is going to be x times x times x, or x cubed. Now, what we're also told is that if the side dimension of the cube is reduced by 5 centimeters to a smaller cube, the volume will also be reduced by 90,000 cubic centimeters. So what are the dimensions of my reduced cube? Well, the reduced cube are going to be x minus 5 centimeters by x minus 5 centimeters by a height of x minus 5 centimeters. And what is the volume going to be for the reduced cube? Well, the volume of the reduced cube is going to be x minus 5 cubed, or x minus 5 times x minus 5 times x minus 5. And we also know that it's 90,000 cubic centimeters less. So how are we going to work that into our relationship? Well, first of all, we know that the volume of the larger cube is going to be greater than the volume of the smaller cube. And how much greater? Well, the volume of the larger cube is going to be 90,000 cubic centimeters more than the volume of the smaller cube. So let's start off with the volume of the smaller cube. So x minus 5 cubed plus 90,000 cubic centimeters will equal to the volume of the larger cube, which is x cubed. There you go. There's an equation. It's only got one variable in it. It's an x variable. I think we can use algebra here to solve this equation. So I'm going to start off by expanding the x minus 5 cubed. And in this case, I'm going to list the 3 factors, x minus 5 times x minus 5. And again, x minus 5. That's 3 factors of x minus 5 plus the 90,000 is equal to x cubed. And I'm going to use FOIL. Of course, I am not very good at doing all 3 of them all at once, so I'm just going to take care of the first pair of factors using the first, outer, inner, and last. So x times x is x squared, and minus 5x again is minus 10x, and minus 5 times minus 5 for the last two is going to be plus 25. And I still need to multiply that by the third factor of x minus 5, and I have plus 90,000 is equal to x cubed. Now I'm going to expand the trinomial with the binomial. I'm going to multiply those two together, and we'll end up with x squared times x, or x cubed. X squared times negative 5 is minus 5x squared. I'm going to pick up the negative 10x and multiply that by x, so it's going to be minus 10x squared. And minus 10 times minus 5 is plus 50x. And lastly, what I need to do is to pick up the 25 and distribute it as well. So I'm going to have plus 25x, and I'm going to have 25 times negative 5, which is minus 125. And I still have the plus 90,000, and that's equal to x cubed. Now, what's nice about this equation is that you can see that I can subtract x cubed from both sides of the equation, and I will lose the x cubed term. I will have equal to 0 on the right side because I've subtracted x cubed. And now I can start to collect like terms. I can see that I've got minus 5x squared and minus 10x squared. Well, that's just minus 15x squared. And 50 and 75x adds up to 75x. And then minus 125 plus 90,000 works out to be a value of 89,000 and 875, and all of that is equal to 0. Now that's a quadratic equation. You can, of course, if you wanted to, change the sign of everything or bring it over to the other side of the equation. If you want to, you can do that, make it look a little bit tidier. So I've got 15x squared minus 75x minus 89,875 is equal to 0. The A value is equal to, and in fact we could divide everything through by, um, by 5 if you wanted to, but I'm not going to bother at this point in time because I'm going to use a solver. A is equal to 15, B is equal to negative 75, and C is equal to negative 89 and 875. Get the solutions, the two solutions for x off your calculator using the solver. The two solutions are x is equal to 79.95 or x is equal to negative 74.95. And remember that since the x was a dimension, and it was a dimension of a cube, we're certainly going to reject this negative solution because it's not a realistic solution. And so the original cube has dimensions of 79.95, and the units, of course, are in centimeters. And it would be 79.95 by 79.95 by 79.95. And again, they're all in centimeters, so it'd be 79.95 cubed, centimeters cubed.